They came back to the house with a cooler because it felt like a compromise, not an olive branch, those implied forgiveness, but a container with rules. Ice packs, labeled bottles, a small handwritten tally taped to the lid. This was what trust looked like now. Measured ounces, dates, initials. Her parents had promised help. Not the kind that cuddled or sang, just the practical relief sleep, showers longer than 3 minutes, someone else watching the clock. She told herself she wasn't coming home for comfort. She was coming because her baby needed consistency, and she needed a break from the constant arithmetic of hunger. The puppy had been there for weeks, a warm blur underfoot. She'd barely noticed it beyond the occasional yip. Animals were easy. Animals were uncomplicated. At first it was small things. Her mother scoffed at alarms. You'll hear her when she needs you. Her father joked about modern parenting like it was a hobby she'd picked up instead of a responsibility she carried in her chest. Each comment slid past her skin and lodged somewhere quieter. She corrected, smiled, relabeled bottles. She woke from a nap to a different kind of silence. Not rest. Absence. The kitchen smelled faintly sweet. The cooler lid was open. One bottle lay empty on the counter, the label smeared where condensation had run. The puppy sat licking its chops, tail thudding the cabinet, pleased with itself. She didn't shout. That surprised her later. She stood there, brain catching up in stages, as if she were watching someone else's house, someone else's mistake. Her mother said it lightly, already defensive. The puppy needed nutrients. Her father added, helpful, formula exists. Stop being selfish. Selfish. The word found her before she found it. She thought of the hours attached to that bottle pumping in the dark. Pumping while eating one-handed. Pumping while her body still ached in ways she didn't have names for yet. Her baby's cry started thin and sharp, then broke into something hoarse. Hunger had a sound. She knew it now. She left, not in a blaze. Just gathering the diaper bag, the cooler lighter than it should have been, and the baby, whose small body arched with effort. In the car, her hand shook so badly, she had to sit there for a minute before turning the key. By the time they reached the emergency room, the crying had dulled into a frightening quiet. Intake questions arrived like a language she could finally speak. How many ounces? When was the last feed? Any vomiting? The nurse didn't flinch. The nurse didn't ask why. Under fluorescent lights, the baby was weighed, monitored, fed slowly. A pediatrician explained dehydration in the same tone one might explain weather. The words were ordinary. The implication was not. A social worker appeared, kind-eyed and thorough. She asked about the grandparents, about care arrangements. She wrote things down. She said mandated reporting like it was a weather system too impersonal, unavoidable. Her parents came later, pale and offended. They tried to talk to her, to reframe, to insist on intent. She watched them speak as if through glass. The baby slept, finally, a line of milk at the corner of her mouth. The authority moment didn't look like confrontation. It looked like a form slid across a desk. Temporary supervision guidelines. No unsupervised caregiving. Conditions for contact. The social worker explained it once, then again, slower. When her mother said she didn't understand how it had come to this. It came to this because hunger isn't a debate. Afterward, there were calls. Long messages about family, about forgiveness, about how paperwork couldn't possibly understand love. She listened to none of them. Silence became a tool she hadn't known she could use, not a punishment maintenance. Weeks passed. The baby gained weight. The pumping became less frantic. The cooler stayed home. Her parents complied, at first stiffly. Visits with her present. Apologies that circled but never quite landed. She accepted what was useful and let the rest fall away. Sometimes she thought about the puppy, about how easily care had been misdirected. No villainy, just a hierarchy she hadn't realized she was still part of until she wasn't. There was no victory speech, no satisfaction, only a steadier breath and a clearer line drawn where guilt used to be. Love, she learned, was not a credential. Boundaries were not revenge. They were the quiet work of keeping someone alive.